ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Sail out to sea and do new things. That is also what I think humans are for. I've been studying sailing my life and ended up getting 5 tools in my life. They are imagination power, leadership, self-objectification, and love and beauty of space and English. Now I'm going to start from the first one, imagination power. Albert Einstein said, logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. When I was in childhood and adolescence, I was totally into watching TV animation, which is called slam dunk. It made my heart beating, and that times in 90s in Korea was like golden times of TV animation, and I was ranging over expensive all kinds of animation, and at this point you guys might be able to consider me as an otaku. Yes, that's what I used to be, and that made me dream of curiousness of language dream. So I majored in Japanese literature. Of course, it has changed it to English later. And animation gave me a first dream and a large sum of imagination power in my life. This ability has had a profound impact on building my strategic thinking now. Now, second one is leadership. What is human being? After got into the university, I was completely absorbed into club activities and committed to it for 3 years. I served as a chairman of student and a vice chairman of General Student Association, which was led to be our TC later. By this time, I thought that I was on the right track, but I stood before the military court for failure of leave at frontline, and I got sentenced. By this time, this is the moment I thought about what leadership is while reviewing what I have done until then. Fortunately, I could retire at the right time as a lieutenant. I figured out what is true leadership and how to handle people in the working place very well, and what is human being. I put all my efforts into finding clue of leadership and changing myself over from the one point. It was so harsh for me, like transformation. In this point, I want to say, if you want to do something in the future, you should look into what human being is first. Because there is no place in the world where no human exists. This failure gave me important wisdom that human eventually moves as their interest, and human can be angel or devil as their interest as well. Now, third one is self-objectification. As soon as I retired, I jumped into e-commerce business only to fail. I fell into a miserableness for continual unsuccess from non-military issues, but I think this experience was like a gift for me now. Because some people often say people who have succeeded ruin ordinary people's lives. I totally agree with that. Cutting my coat according to my clothes is not that bad life. Sometimes we advise this to people in a negative way, yet if you look at it another way, you can exactly know where you are and where you should start from, which doesn't mean we have to make our dreams smaller. So, sorry. What was changed is that I doubted my thinking is mine first. Occasionally, desire to know more and more is working better about ourselves. Strictly to speaking, I don't like dreaming as bigger as I could imagine, because it can make us love more and more, and our brain cannot work properly. even can worsen when I have a role model who I'm crazy about. Look at this picture, please. Actually, sometimes when we have some blind faith on someone or something, it begins to work and make us mistake their thoughts for mine. So one day I realized this and I tried this one. Started to kill all the teachers one by one in my mind and put down all the books and video clips of self-improvement field. It was not until I removed them that I realized there were so many people living in my mind. Personal growth, I suppose, is not coming from outside, but from inside. When we question to ourselves and we find the answer by ourselves, I believe our soul can get better than ever before. Of course, nowadays I sometimes read some books to know, but I already know how to chart it among their speeches and their knowledges. It is like, finally I got a yardstick in my mind, not a self-will. So, therefore, now I can stand as I am anywhere. Now I found out we already have infinite possible in our soul and our body. So that is what I got after second big failure. This wisdom is called self-justification, and I became free thinker. Now, first one are love and beauty of space. And I joined the company, and I met my significant other at the company there. She was totally who I dreamed of, and was my ideal type. Actually, at that time, she was my boss, and I was wearing her for 1 year as hiding my love, but eventually we were, bam, connected. She is the one who taught me what phantom love is. The most ridiculous thing is the way we did it. We've been talking and talking every side of the world, human being, business, financial, economy, religion, history, education, even how to raise kids, etc. for 7 or 8 hours every time we meet for 7 years. As a result, she has grown me up, and I think I did it too. I hope. I cannot tell how much happy it is. It was proved to be true by her. Love is not for people who just want to fill their heart with someone, but only for people who try to find true love. And Aristotle say, love is composed of a single life, single soul, inhabiting 2 bodies, like this picture. After having deep conversations, we decided to quit our job together. Oh my goodness. After that, we flew Australia to study English together. And it was great experiences for us to have in another country for 2 years. And we saw and met so many kinds of people there, most of them living in Australia, where we knew how to enjoy their lives. It had an effect on adjusting our values. Actually, they were living totally different with Korean and enjoyed spending their time with ease. Of course, it would be a problem in working place, but from what I can tell, I thought we needed to learn that thing. Those experiences were so inspirational that I could empty myself out strongly through that lesson. And we could have heard that somewhere, and there were no chance and time to think it over and practice in Korea. Through these experiences, I clearly realized why Steve Jobs tried to learn calligraphy, yoga, and Oriental things, etc., which looked unnecessary for him. I'm confident that he already knew those things which unrelated to him would have an effect on creating brand new autumn iPhone. Look at this picture, please. Those experiences make us a little bit losing and make a balance between work and personal lives. Oriental paintings have beauty of space, like this picture. I strongly believe our lives will also be fragmented if there is space. And some people around me who already knew this story says, I envy your life. You are living as if your heart tells you to do. I cannot live like that because I have no thoughts. But the way I see it, they just gave up their adventure, picking up stableness. That is not a matter of whether what is right life or wrong. That is just a matter of choice. In this point, I never felt any stableness even at once. My life was like an uphill battle seeking for fundamental meaning. And I finally found on which I have to spend my time, effort, and experience. And now all these things start to be collected and turning into my insight. This will be a legacy to my baby, to give to my wife as I being wise husband, and this will also be my shield and sword in a modern society that has to go through winds and waves of ever-changing life. Last one is English. One has to make a masterpiece if you ask me. Some people would say it has to be having houses or being rich or bragging their social status. I'm not sure which one is the most precious, but I can think making a masterpiece is the most priceless in beautifulness. In this point, now I feel like I'm destined to study English, and English is my calling where I have to melt down all my stuff. And I want to teach more people by English and by my experiences. I don't want to rewrite my life when I'm in my 40s and 50s. Actually, I always picture myself teaching my English with my wisdom above in the future. And this will be led to teach orphans who I thought would be another future in our country. They didn't get any proper care by their parents and by government. So I think English can help them be global talent and also help me build my own house by making fortunes, by teaching ASO, and where it is located and countryside, which is third-story building, and my kid would be running on the grass with a dog, my lovely wife is sitting by me and looking at that. It would be the most happiness in my life. In the end, I want to teach philosophy to sculpt my soul like Michelangelo by reading their thoughts of a little bit wiser than me. And I have a dream that I want to live as beautiful soul when I go into peace. Thank you.